made a picture of you, Lou Streets. It's Lou in the streets. Who would have thought?
So this is funny about this particular episode of this, right? Because in the past, who have I talked to? I've talked to Tom Brady, I've talked to Mike Hollow, and I've talked to Sikander, and I was going to reach out with Losty as well. So the thing that's different about this particular episode of this is the first time that I have an active competitive player on, right? And so I wonder if that changes how you guys view the game versus, I put it in 3 classes. You have casual, competitive casual, which I feel like is kind of me and content creators. We're above average, but we're not like the most elite of the most elite. And then there's you guys who like play and compete for money, like on the highest level. So ironically, me and Mr. Aqua just played Mortal Kombat 11 yesterday because, you know, like on Twitter, the word has been going around about which one is better. Where do you stand on that?
I think every MK game has its own, it's got its own charm and its own downsides. I'm never one that says, oh yeah, let's never go back to this game or that game, because I'll go back to all of them anyway. I was already been playing MK11 a little bit. I was streaming it the other day, just going on there to mess around with people with Robocop, or like on occasions you were streaming MKX. I'd play MK9 if I could. Like it's not that big of a deal to me, but that's because I'm an MK fan. As you're saying, like, where do I stand in terms of like casual, competitive casual, or like elite or whatever? I'd say I wouldn't even say I'm like elite. I could place still, but I'm not playing in the mindset to just go and win a tournament, because I'm more on the streaming side. That's more entertaining to me. I'd rather just be with the people that like to laugh at what I do in the game, because my gaming experience is a bit unique no matter what game I play. I think that's more entertaining to me, and Mortal Kombat is really good for that.
So for your perspective, is more so that you give each game kind of like its own isolated identity versus kind of comparing them against each other, is what you're essentially saying.
I know. It's a pattern, right? There's a pattern. Every game, with every new game, starts off better than the last game, and then a little bit into the new game, the last game becomes better, and then they'll say we should have gone back to the game before that. So you can see an example of this on Twitter. People are saying, oh yeah, let's go back to MK11, and then you got the people saying, oh, don't go back to MK11, go back to MKX. But before, in the last game, that MKX was MK9. So it's this repeating pattern. I've seen it too many times. I'm not really, I kind of expect it.
You know what's funny about you saying that is because I've heard a lot of people say that, right? And so I guess, so my opinion is this. I think the MK11 is better. And when I say better, I don't necessarily mean better like it's the better game per se. This is kind of what I was saying on Aqua's stream last night, is that it has a better replay factor. Like, even for instance, last night, me and him played about 20 matches and it was like an impromptu set. I've rarely ever done that in Mortal Kombat 1. And I don't know if it's because of the game's completion feel, as far as like feeling like that is bare bones, or maybe like I'm just not the largest fan of Kameos, even though I understand their purpose. I think overall for me, because I didn't really play MKX that much and I didn't play MK9 at all, I didn't come back to fighting games around Injustice 2. So I think that like my bias is like a little more straight down the middle, because I don't have the history to go against, right? I just think that from playing both games, and this could be based on the competition around it. Like Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 is out at the same time. Obviously, Mortal Kombat 11 didn't have to deal with those 2 games when it came out. I just think that Mortal Kombat 11 has more of a replay factor that I can enjoy. Even like when I played it last night, I had a ton of fun playing it. And I haven't played it in like months.
Yeah, it's not bad, honestly. I think, just to go back to, sorry, choking on air. Just to go back to like some of the characters, I think the characters are funnier in that game at least. Like you got Robocop, Terminator, Nightwolf, Shiva. They're all just funnier. I think MK1's a bit more serious in comparison. And like you're saying, there is more replayability to it because the game's just got more to it. Like rooms are a massive thing that are missing, and I don't think most like top level players would be about that, but when you're playing to just mess around, be a nuisance, rooms are really, really good.
Yeah,
it increases the. I think MK1 isn't social enough. That's probably what I'm trying to say. Like MK11 had a bit more of a social factor in it, because you could just randomly join a King of the Hill. That because there are rooms, people would make more King of the Hills amongst themselves. and then there'd be more things to join. Whereas if you do that on MK1, you're just going to join the same 2 or 3 King of the Hills because there's no room.
Do you think that that's based on the game not being complete, or just like coincidence? Or do you feel like MK1 is a complete game? I know it's still more coming, but when it came out, did you feel like it was a complete product per se?
I don't think most games are complete games right now. If you look at most releases, they're always missing something. I swear. Like Street Fighter 5 was the same. Like every game's the same. Like everything is missing something. Tekken didn't have a net code, things like that. But is MK1 a complete game? No, because it's not got this. It needs to have at least what MK11 had.
Yeah, true. With all the features and stuff.
I think the stories, but they're better in some aspects than others. Even though the story took some weird 360 or whatever, the 360, 180, 360. We ain't doing shit on a tree, right? Yeah, it took some weird swing. Everything up before that multiverse stuff was pretty good, I think. So the story was good.
Yeah,
the gameplay is better, I think, than 11. But then the infrastructure of the game is worse, and that's fundamental. That's foundational, isn't it? So.
Yeah, see, what you're saying is kind of like that's where I started at, right? Because I went through this thing where if anybody who was following my content, it would almost seem like I waffled a bit, right? Because when MK1 first came out, I was cooking in it. And so naturally, I think it's a combination of 2 things. You're winning, and secondly, you're enjoying that you're getting a new product. So I think you have a desire to want to like it. So when the game first came out, I was like, MK1 is better. Anybody else who's saying MK11 is better is just ass because they're getting their ass whooped in Mortal Kombat 1. I thought that initially. But the more I played the game, I felt like, okay, I know how to win. The problem is the ways I can win don't seem to vary much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I tried to pick up Reptile, I was trying to avoid playing Honeybee's team with Scorpion because I wanted to just make my own squad. And after going through every cameo in the game, I realized the way that I want to play, the style in which I want to play this character, I kind of need Scorpion. And I feel like lately that's become the thing for everybody. So the meta just becomes 4 to 5 cameos and 4 to 5 characters. And I think that's kind of where the game is hurting itself. And I really think that's only based on cameos. I think if this was a one-on-one game and it was fully kitted out, I think we might not be complaining about this game being better, because the thing is, the problems that they fixed from 11, it doesn't matter because you introduce new problems with this new infrastructure. If you would have just made Mortal Kombat 12, we probably would have game of the year right now. No problem. At least in my opinion. So
you're saying that there's 4 or 5 assists that basically determine what you can and can't do. So what are those 4 and 5? What do you think?
So I would say now, okay, my list is going to be a little bit dated because I've only played the game twice since the Decade has been out, because I kind of just not playing it on purpose. I'm just having more fun playing Tekken and Dragon Ball Fighter still. But I would say when I last played and what I've been recalling from seeing on Twitter, it seems the main cameos to go to, or if you want Goro for big damage, if you want Farah for the mix, Scorpion is still a really popular one as far as extending combos. Kano is still really popular because of his off-screen shenanigans, and I don't see Striker as much. I'm trying to think who I'm seeing lately. Probably Sindel, Lau, a lot of that. So mainly Farah, Lau, who did I say? Farah, Lau, Goro, Scorpion, and who was the 5th that I said? I can't remember what the 5th was I said, but I feel like it's those 4 or 5. Yeah. Kano. So I feel like it's pretty much only those 5 that I'm seeing as far as when you're trying to win. So maybe if you're having fun, you'll pick somebody else. But when it comes to trying to win, it seems like that's the box that you have to play inside of.
Well, the people that are trying to win are picking Farah, Tremor for some of these teams. If you want to count my teams, Sonya, they're picking Kano, they're picking Chameleon. The assists are diverse. I think pretty much all of them. Nearly all of them. Even Movado, Reptile Movado is the thing now. Who else is there? What other assists? Frost is still pretty much not used. Sub-Zero, the Kenshi players have gone back to. Scorpion's kind of been phased out by Janet, and Janet is pretty popular, so...
Yeah, I thought about Janet and Cammy, the ones I didn't mention.
I don't think the assists are that limited, really. There's a lot of teams that you'll see people playing that work. Motaro, that's another one. Goro is another one. I think Goro is a bit less popular now that Farah's there.
Yeah, she does the same. She serves the same purpose. But that's kind of the issue though. Is like,
launch,
but do you feel like that's an issue though? Where like, because I think Mike Hollow said this actually. It's like you'll have a cameo that does something really well, then they'll introduce another cameo that does that same thing better, which phases out the original one. So kind of like when you mentioned Goro being phased out because of him doing certain things that Farrah can do. That's kind of like what I mean about the whole assist thing, is that I'm not saying that the cameos thing is a terrible idea. At the very least, it's just implemented poorly, in my opinion. It's not enough variety, in my opinion. Maybe that's why it's like 5 to 7 cameos out of what, 16 total, I think? 16, 12, something like that.
I don't think any MK fan was like, yeah, let's just make it an assist game. I don't think that was like what anyone would have asked or wanted for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's restricting. I was going to say something. So you're saying about the assists that phase each other out. I think the only one I can think that counts. Actually, there's 2 times that's happened, and you can take away one of those times because of a buff another assist got, right? So first time it happened was when Janet came out, and she kind of nullifies Scorpion. However, Scorpion does have niche picks that Janet can't fulfill. So like, say you're a Havoc player, you pretty much need something like Scorpion to get out of, say, a Tanya Motaro team pressure. You just lose just for existing. The other one that got phased out was Darius for Tremor, and that was only on one character, which was Reiko. But now Darius has got buffed to do something different, so he's back in. So there's only really one assist, and even then you can make an argument. I think the issue is not diversity in what you see. The issue is what you were saying about earlier. It's like doing the same thing to win, mostly. But that, I don't know if that's really an issue, because every game works like this. So we got people going on about safe armor. That's the thing. Armor shouldn't be safe, right? That is a thing that is justifiably annoying. However, that doesn't mean you can't play around it. I think that's my viewpoint. Like, you'll see this in every patch and every game. You'll have the people that are moaning about it, and then there's people like me that are gonna try and figure it out. Yeah, just because it's annoying or whatever, don't mean that it can't be figured out. And I think there's ways around this. It's like theoretically, Sonya shouldn't or Lao should phase one or the other out, but they're both useful for different reasons, and they do the same thing almost. I think that's the thing, and you need to find the nuance in the difference. Like, yeah, Tremor phased out Darius for Reiko, but Darius does do some other stuff, at least now. So you just got to figure out what's the difference in these minor differences, you know, what makes it worth, what can you make worth of this thing?
See, the funny thing about you saying that, and that's why I said I kind of pointed out the fact that you were a competitor earlier when we first started, because you essentially said that like some things are annoying, kind of like safe armor, things like that, but you'll find a way to play around it. And so the thing that I wonder that the MK dev team runs into is that, okay, you have these very nuanced things that a player of your skill level would be able to find out and kind of capitalize on, right? But then maybe the competitive casual or casual player that's more of the majority of the Mortal Kombat fan base, that may leave them alienated if they can't find it or don't really understand how to operate it. Which do you think is more important? Because like when I was talking to Tom Brady, he focused a lot on competitive, tournament. And while he did make sense, a lot of the comments were saying, hey, there's a much larger crowd than this competitive niche crowd. Which side of that do you fall on? Like, do you feel like a game should be more based in competitiveness or based in more fun? And how do you balance that out for the majority of the population?
You can do it for both. I think for the casual side of it, some of the characters just need to do more interesting stuff. Like Sub-Zero, he's a pretty dry character. You're not really, if you want to play, there's 2 ways that people play Sub. They be playing really dry or like a complete lunatic, unsafe, left, right, and center. But I think he's pretty just boring to play. Like in general, even if you're playing either of those styles, they just need to make the boring characters a bit more entertaining. That'll make the casuals happy, and the competitors. Like, there's no, like, what degree more Mickey Mouse can you get than safe armor every turn, huh? Like, how much further can you go? I think you'll be able to find the balance pretty easy if we're willing to accept and play, because the competitors still compete. They're still going to play whatever you throw at them. Mm-hmm. The casuals are the ones that are going to go when you throw something they don't like, which is probably in this case assists, lack of rooms and all that stuff, or the fact that they just play story and then bounce.
So you're kind of saying it makes more sense to just lean to the casual because the competitor's going to figure it out either way. They're going to just find a way to be efficient.
Yeah, that's their purpose.
Yeah, I feel you on that because and this is funny because I'm sure there are other characters that are really fun. I haven't taken the time to learn Takeda or Homelander. I just haven't played the game that much since those two characters dropped. I've still been making content around it, but I haven't just really sat and labbed any particular character. What I will say is, me being a Liu Kang main, playing Mortal Kombat 11 Liu Kang, and then playing this Liu Kang, it feels so disheartening because all I have is F4 stagger, 1-2 stagger, and grab. I have nothing else, you know what I'm saying? And while it can be effective, it gets redundant very quickly. Versus Mortal Kombat 11 Liu Kang with the nunchuck stance and all the mix with that, you can have a lot of mind games and fun. I got a tick throw, command grab, mind games with the nunchuck high and overhead, or the nunchuck low and overhead. None of that is in Mortal Kombat 1. I think maybe if I had one of those cool characters like a Melina or a Reptile or somebody like that, where they did a lot, maybe I would enjoy playing it more because I would be able to play my character. But I mean, Liu Kang, I can win with him, but I win the same way every match. There's no variety to how I win, you know?
Are you playing the same assist every match?
I've switched it up. I've played Kang and Goro. I think I started with Kang and Sonya. Then I went Kang and Serena. Did Kang and Cammy, and right now the team that I've pretty much been running when I have played with them is Kang and Movado, and that's because pretty much Movado gives me everything that I want Chameleon to do without me having to worry about the icon switching. So there's less mobility, but I plan to use my spacing to kind of get the attack distance that I want, but more so extending my combos is what's a big deal to me. And so with Chameleon, it just switches too much. So I think that's kind of the issue where it's it feels almost as if my character got dumbed down to make the cameos useful, but that is not really fun to me when my last character was super kitted out in Mortal Kombat 11.
Your character was super kitted out in MK11 because you were allowed to pick the variations. I remember did you play on the launch of MK11?
Yeah, I played launch, but the first day that we got cameos or the first day we got custom variations, I made the nunchuck stance the very first day, and I rolled with it.
Exactly. See, I reckon that maybe there'll be something like that happens for this game because they do something drastic every game. It might even be on this next thing coming up. They do something drastic every time. If you were around for MKX, they changed the game up in season 2 and gave us all good netcode, whatever. MK11, they gave us customs and that. There's probably going to be something down the line that will change it up here, because if you looked at day 1 MK11, your Liu Kang weren't doing all this nunchuck stuff with a low fireball, with this and with that, because it wouldn't let you do that in ranked. Or if you're going to talk about ranked, if you're talking completely casually, then I guess you could do that. But if you're talking within the middle zone, which you're saying you are, which could be ranked matches and maybe some online tournaments and that, you were kind of restricted in that game in the first half. But I obviously can't tell the future. Maybe we'll end up with even more restrictions in the future. That's a possibility as well. The funny thing if you want the variation in your character, you just got to learn the assists, really. I think I've realized recently that I don't even main a character in this game. I just currently main an assist, and then I see how that assist plays with every character. I think that's the nuance of the game, really. Because you can make an assist like Sonya, which no one plays, but that assist works with everybody and gives all these characters all these crazy things. That means that another assist will do similar sort of things. Depends on the assist strength, really.
But what I worry about is, because you kind of pointed to that. I remember when I remember making this video about that custom variation should be ranked, and I remember I said that I was a year and a half ahead of the curve on it. And I remember when I said it, everybody killed me for it in my comments, and then I ended up being right 18 months later when they did it. And while some people had some gripes about it, it made the game more fun. The thing that you just said that caught my attention was you main an assist and then you put your character around that. That's a unique perspective because I've never heard that. But on the flip side, and I guess your opinion is more like you're flexible and you're adaptable, so it's not really like a negative or a bad opinion, or like a good or a bad opinion in your from your perspective. But I would say, taking that approach, do you think that that's like them dropping the ball? The fact that you feel like you would have to main and assist and pick a character when it should be the other way around per se? Or is that just me kind of like having a limited point of view?
No, I'm like maining the assist it's not what I think I'm doing, it's just what I can do and then switch to any other character as long as I can learn the other character, you know? You can main a character and then play a bunch of assists. It works on the flip side, doesn't it? Both ways are real. Like you can play Luke, like you said, you can play Liu Kang with any assist, but I can't play Kung Lao with any assist.
Yeah, very true.
Because I just can't do that. I just can't. Yeah.
Well, some you like need mix. Like my only frustration is that I feel like if assists are meant to like make mix more viable, it's great for some characters like a Kung Lao or like Smoke with F3, the F3 2 string. Since like the second hit is an overhead, you can mix up Kung Lao low hat or something like that. My frustration is for my particular character, Liu Kang doesn't have, like, it's mind blowing to me that some characters like Sub-Zero has like back 3 and back 2. So we got like a low starter and an overhead starter that launches, right? But then you have somebody like Liu Kang. Liu Kang has no mix. He has 3-2. It's a reactable string that ends in overhead, but nobody's gonna be tricked by that. If I do like 3 into Kung hat or Kung Lao low hat, nobody's really, if you're a reasonable player, you're gonna be able to react to that. If you get hit with it twice, you'll react for the rest of the round. My frustration is like some characters do have that and some don't. And so it makes it where the variety, I think that's the thing for me. It's just like, it's not a ton of variety. I mean, maybe of course somebody can find unique things, but it feels like you gotta dig to like really deep within the game just to find something somebody else isn't doing, because the meta is kind of like copy and paste and repeat. And I mean, we saw that very clearly at like Evo and Final Combat when it was just like Peacemaker galore, Peacemaker Chameleon all over the place.
That was a Peacemaker problem, I think, because Peacemaker was so stupid. He defined the meta. So that the only character you can play is Peacemaker or something that can fight Peacemaker. And then the third level, like layer of characters after that is what is the one that fights Peacemaker, which is Johnny. So then the third layer of character is what character does good against Johnny for that scenario. And then that's it at that point.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest representation when we saw all those mirrors getting close and close to the end.
Kang's got no mix. Lu's got some things about him though. He's got so obviously he's got both the fireballs. I don't think his zoning is that good, honestly, but he's got the fireballs. So he's got having a low fireball that ducks a high projectile is already a big thing to have in these kind of games. I'm always for those kind of characters. Like, remember RoboCop's low gun, best projectile. That's like the best kind of projectile you can have is a RoboCop low gun. He's got in this game, strike and throw are both 10 frames, right? And we were saying about using it, like, he's got no mix, but they're both the same speed. And then obviously back 2-3 is unsafe if they duck it. But this is when assists and that come in. You could make literally a same frame mix up with Sonya Ring. You just run up, like if you get a time to charge the ring, run up, do back 2 or throw, both on a 10th frame, you're guessing. And then the ring will confirm it for you.
Yeah, true.
That's a safe throw. That's a safe throw, safe mid. I mean, there's things you can do. I mean, Lu's got, say, about a 6-frame punish. Yeah, he's got that. That's one of 3 characters that can do that in the game. That's a luxury because there's a lot of -7 things in this game that would be otherwise safe. Like Kenshi Run, a bunch of Baraka strings, things like that, you know, anything -7. Yeah, so Lu doesn't need to have a mix-up, like, just because he's not opening you up the same, like, in the strongest way. I mean, a 50-50 is probably the strongest way you can open anyone up in these kind of games. It goes 50-50, like, mid-command grab, something like that, yeah. But he's got control, and control is equally, if not more, valuable than a mix-up. At least in my opinion. Like, if you can't control the match, then the other guy's just going to be doing what he wants the whole time. And that's no good, because then they're just gonna get more opportunities to do things. Whereas with Lu, you can make them move where you want them. You can punish certain things that you stop them from doing certain things, and now you've got a bit of control in the match.
Yeah, I do feel what you're saying.
You pay him with like low hat, and now you've got even more control, because low hat by itself dictates what the match is going to be like. Like that is you have to deal with this one way or the other assist.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I totally see your point, because it is what I said earlier about, like, with Liu Kang, I win the same way every time, but it's pretty much like dictating space. Like, I'm going to throw low fireballs to kind of control you wanting to jump, and then as soon as you jump, I'm going to anti-air you with Dragon's Breath and go into a full combo, stagger throw, etc.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
So it does make total sense. The only thing that I wonder is, like, if we're doing that and it's 11 months in and we're playing that same way, the thing that you mentioned about the games having major overhauls, and now that you say that, I didn't think about it in that time frame, because I just wanted to because maybe I said it first, so it just was like in my mind. But you are right that Variations being custom was like a major change. The breakaway attacks were like a major change. What I'm hoping is the major change, and I've said this in every one of these videos, I don't know if it's going to be if it's going to happen, because I feel like it's kind of a lofty request. I'm hoping this game finds a way to go full 2v2. The only reason I think it's going to be a problem is because the thing is, like, from a manpower and like development hours, I don't know how you would do it, because I'm like, okay, if we go full 2v2, does that mean you have a mode where you take the cameos out and all of the characters are now the assists and they can like swap tag combos plus have their full kit? Or do you give the cameos full sets of moves, which I think would be even harder? So I don't know if that can happen. I feel like that will pump all the juice back into the game that's been lost as far as reputation goes. Where do you stand on that? Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think it's like just wishful thinking?
Probably a possibility. I don't see why they couldn't do that. I mean, they've made the whole game already, haven't they? They can just throw a few more characters in there, make DLC. They've made a bunch. That's their job, isn't it? That's what they do. So I'm pretty sure you could. It can be done. I don't know how long it takes. Like, I'm not a developer, am I? So I don't know how long it takes to do these things. Maybe it doesn't take as much effort as we're being like skeptical, or maybe it does. But will 2v2 save the game? I mean, it'd probably be better for the game. It'd be more interesting. Hopefully they do something like that and then do like a 2x KO and let one person control a character, like each. That'd be cool.
That would be amazing. Like that would probably, that'll bring back that social thing that you talked about, the social aspect. That would bring it all the way back.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be sick actually. Imagine 2v2 ranked, but you're not searching as a 2. Yeah, you can get put on a random team with someone.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Now see, that type of stuff is like, when it comes to the idea of it, I think like all of that would be fun. The only thing that I worry about, and Tom was like ranting about this a lot in the video. He was really passionate about this particular thing. He was saying that they're lazy when it comes to NRS, and it's funny to say that because I feel like MK11, this is my analogy. I said Mortal Kombat 11 was made with love. Regardless if you like it, love it, hate it. The game from a presentation standpoint, all the little nuanced stuff, just small things like when you do a crush and blow on Terminator, how he has an exoskeleton instead of a real skeleton. Like, they put so much little small details into that game, and Mortal Kombat 1 feels to be missing all of that. But it's not even been a year yet, and they keep saying they're going to support the game and keep it alive. I feel like it would have to be these drastic changes, and if they don't, it would be very disappointing. Because if the game is what it is now, this game not going to last past 2026 at the very latest. In its current state. New cameos, all of that. They got to stop trying to sell us on cameos and new characters. Give us new styles of the game to play within itself. That's my opinion.
I reckon they'll do that. I reckon they will do that. Like, their track history suggests that it's highly probable because they do it every game. I don't remember if what they did in Injustice. They'd kind of do in Injustice as well, actually.
What was that change?
They nerfed Deadshot. They nerfed Deadshot. That was what they did. They nerfed Deadshot and it became a different game for the worse. But that's a different topic. But MK games, they do change them up. Yeah, they like quite a lot. So I wouldn't say hold your breath, but I could say it with a high degree of certainty that you'll probably survive.
I feel like you would have to, because I mean, at the very least, they track metrics of things. They track tournament participation, player participation, what the online hours are like, you know, what's getting streamed. Yeah. They have to know, and even like what worried me a whole bunch was when everything went down really, really bad as far as like how things launched, Ed Boon got really quiet. And I was frustrated about that because his thing pre-launch was we're going to get a ton of communication and a ton of insight and a ton of feedback and like fan feedback about how we go about the game. Then things kind of started off bad and they went radio silent. Then they kind of started turning things somewhat the right direction. But my thing is, the things that we wish for are doable. I just don't know if they like have the ego or not to do them. I feel like that they know that they need to do them. It's just a matter of would they get them done, because this game has sold 3 million copies. Mortal Kombat 11 sold 15 million over the course of 5 years. This game has no chance of hitting that without some major drastic overhaul. And I'm just hoping that they do it. I just like what you said, I'm not holding my breath. But 2v2, and even what you said, you're the first person to say the whole 4-player system. That would be fucking mind-blowing. That would change everything.
That would be cool.
Because even if you lose and you still having fun playing with your boys, that would change everything dramatically.
Yeah, just carry people and shit. That'd be good. Just find some random people to carry in ranked or drag down, whatever. Yeah, that'd be amusing.
Are you playing any other games right now that you feel are taking your attention away from Mortal Kombat 1 at all, as far as fighting games? Or are you kind of just, because of everybody I've talked to, you sound the most optimistic about the current state of the game, but that's because you also have like that flexible, adaptable competitor mentality. So is there other games that you're playing, or are you kind of rolling with this right now?
I mess around with Elden Ring Invasions. You done that?
Nah, I never played it. I'm like the only non-Elden Ring guy. Everybody loves this franchise except me.
The premise is that you go into somebody else's world and you're basically the Terminator. You're there to hunt the host of the world and kill them, and that's it. That's all you're there for. It's either you kill them or they kill you, but they're always with a co-op partner. So it's always like 2v1, 3v1, 4v1, whatever. And it could be anywhere on the map. It's like, imagine if you went into like someone else's GTA world and your mission was to hunt them, and you both are all tooled up and whatever. Yeah, it's one of those kind of things. That's kind of amusing.
Do they know you're there? Like when you come in and play,
Yeah, they know you're there. They get a message. Yeah, it's like so-and-so is here to join your world as an invader. And that just means it's on. They either run forever and eventually die, because you get them if you're patient, or they fight back.
So when you come in, can you be at like a power level that they can't? Do you come in at a power level that they can't handle potentially? Is that a possibility?
No, it kind of puts you similar sort of level, but you can make your character optimal through like gear and stuff like that. So you can have different weapons and armor and stuff that will give you different stats to use different things. But it is funny because the game it's got sort of fighting game elements in it, like with punishing, baiting people to do stuff, taking your turn and all that.
So you can so skill wise you can beat them. Like skill wise you can kind of outsmart them and beat them on your own. It's not like luck.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of cool. I've never
seen
seen
Ring players don't know what they're doing. They'll just like try and spam roll away or whatever, and you'll just punish the roll.
And you always come in solo?
Yeah, if you're invading, you're always on your own, and you don't know how many people you're invading because they're doing a co-op session. It could be between
insane.
1
and 6
fun. If you're on PC.
That sounds crazy, bro. That sounds fun as hell.
Go in there, you chop them all to pieces, bag them, and then leave.
Yeah, because I watch Elden Ring. I watch a lot of people play, but I've never ever played the game. Like it's one of those franchises I've never got time to get into. It's almost like, and I mean you know this too, because like you stream, like how sometimes you feel that the games that you cover content on, it kind of dictates what you play. So maybe you play other games off camera. So like I've never gotten to Elden Ring, and I watch it and I don't get the appeal. But that mode that you're talking about sounds really fun.
That mode is the appeal to me. Like I had a similar sort of viewpoint to you, but after playing it is that good. Even the single player is that good, but it's not enough to like keep me on it. Mm-hmm. But the invasions mode, yeah, you can just run, like jump on it any time, ruin someone's gaming experience. Brilliant.
Do you have you messed with any of the fighting games, like any Street Fighter, any Tekken 8, Dragon Ball Fighters, anything like that?
Oh, I've played them all. Dragon Ball I haven't played for years though. Not since season 2. I never knew you was
on Dragon Ball. I never seen any of your content around it. I didn't know you was playing it.
I won like one tournament in the UK, got second in another one, and then that was it. Really, I played Krillin, Tien, Goku.
Man, people who don't agree with me on this, I think Dragon Ball Fighters is the best fighting game of all time, bro.
Of all time? Nah, that game's way too hooligan.
Bro, I love, like, that's the game that made me want to make like, the ironic part about people knowing me for making Mortal Kombat content, Dragon Ball FighterZ is the game that made me want to make content. That's how I found Maximilian Dude.
That game is just so ham.
You don't love the chaos? The chaos is where it's at, bro.
I do, but like I liked MKX. I like Tekken 8, that's chaotic as well.
Yeah,
Killer
Tekken 8 is
Instinct is
chaotic.
chaos. They're all good, but Dragon Ball was just too mad. I think Dragon Ball should have been a 1v1. Like, where in Dragon Ball are they fighting 3v3? Nowhere.
Bro, that's why I think it's the shit, because there's no, like I feel like this is no other game like it. It came out before Mortal Kombat 11 and it's still going strong and still getting another patch. Like, and I mean, there may be some bias to it, and it's funny because the reason I say this is because I'm not a Dragon Ball fan. In fact, the game made me start watching the anime. Like, you know, most people will play the games, they watch the anime. I was the other way around. I love the game so much. I was like, what are these lines they keep referencing? So I went and watched Dragon Ball Super and I started to catch on. And then what I really loved about it was that in the show, you would just be watching like Dragon Ball Super and be like, oh, that's the move from the game. Like, they capture it so well.
It's one. Yeah,
bro, it's fucking beautiful. It is beautiful. I love that game. Like, whenever they make Dragon Ball FighterZ 2, we was having this conversation the other day. I hope it never goes backwards, because I think, and I mean, I may be biased, I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best fighting game of all time. Of course, people don't agree with me, but it's like, I'm saying it because it's my opinion. But bro, I love that game. Like, maybe it got a special place in my heart. That's what it is.
Right.
But
it did have a very magical launch. I think that was a very unique. I haven't seen a game launch like that, except for maybe like. No, actually, no. The Dragon Ball launch was sick. Everyone's screaming, the Cell screams at the beginning. Everything was like Sonic vs. Goichi. It was like a Dragon Ball episode. Seeing that game launch, a whole saga for a few seasons as well. I think the greatest fighting game of all time. It's going to be. I don't know if it's MK9 or X.
Oh, you think it's the MK game?
Totally biased. Yeah, it's probably MK9. That's like I always call it the Genesis. It's the Genesis.
Do you think you said no biasness in that?
Of shit for me.
No biasness in there, or you think
totally? I'm saying totally.
Because I don't know what objectively my game would be. I don't know what my objective fighting, because the reality is whatever the game that's probably considered amongst like the whole entire FGC is probably something I didn't play. Because like, I know a lot of people love Street Fighter. I wasn't heavy on Street Fighter when I was younger, like Third Strike and all that shit. I hear a lot of people say that Third Strike or like MVC 2 or 3 is like the best fighting game of all time. I never really played any of them. So it's like, my opinion could be just biased to the games that I play, but I've never heard somebody say MKX, but I know a lot of people love that game.
MKX changed my life though, so I've got a lot from and to owe to MKX.
That makes total sense. That does make total. Maybe, and you know what? That's probably my bias for Mortal Kombat 11 over MK1, because it helped build my channel, which is ironic because I wanted to be known as a Dragon Ball FighterZ creator, but I mean, I'm just good enough at Mortal Kombat 11, and I'm good at giving commentary, but it does have a special place with me. But I also think it's one of the best complete products I've ever seen too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think 9 was probably better though, over 11, even in pretty much every aspect.
I've never played it.
11 shinier. No, 9 was. There's a reason people love 9. They don't. No one ever hates on 9. They'll say, yeah, there's some jank shit, but it was sick. Then it's never like when they talk about this game that we're playing or 11, when they're like, oh yeah, it's a bit crusty. No, I'm never going back to it. A lot of people would just play 9 if they could. They can't, because you can't get it anymore. But
yeah, I never had a chance to play it at all.
Best fighting game of all time, objectively, has to be Street Fighter 4 if you're any sort of competitive player, because without Street Fighter 4, there wouldn't have been the resurgence of fighting games, was there? They were doing bits before, but 4 brought all we have that is modern comes from 4 pretty much. Like it was Street Fighter 4, and then like later down the line, MK9, and well, Tekken's always just there, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think people, I don't think people look at Tekken as a fighting game historically, only because of the 3D aspect. I think when people think fighting games, they always think 2D, but I think Tekken 8 is like incredible.
Tekken's just like its own thing. I think it's almost like how I'm not comparing them to Smash. But I'm saying it's almost. I kind of am. It's almost like Smash, like how Smash is its own thing, despite being in what would be technically the same sort of genre. Tekken's almost on its own plane of existence. I guess they're just superior. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, because I
Superior
mean,
game.
DOA and Virtua Fighter don't get mentioned the way that Tekken does at least from like in the casual circles I travel in. I never really hear people talk about DOA or Virtua Fighter the way they talk about Tekken. Like Tekken gets a lot of love. And this game, I personally think since I've been making content, Tekken 8 has the best launch I've ever seen of any game ever. Like the launch was just fucking amazing for this game.
Street Fighter 6 as well.
Yeah.
It's the launch for that game is crazy. The amount of people in tournament. Evo, right? I've been to a lot of Evos, and the launch of Street Fighter 6 was there's so many people at Evo. It was shoulder to shoulder in the main hall, watching the last qualifier. It was Mena. I can't remember who it was. It was Mena versus someone. Maybe it was who got ninth? Was it Daigo that year? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I've only seen like so many of them. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember for
Mena versus someone, and it was literally shoulder to shoulder in Evo main hall, and that's because of Street Fighter 6. So maybe maybe Street Fighter 6 is the greatest game of all time, and we're just living through it right now. I think that's probably what it is.
Almost like we taking it for granted because it's happening in the moment.
Yeah, because it's happening right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Street Fighter 4 is doing what I said, but Street Fighter 6 is doing what Street Fighter 4 did, but way more. So it's probably going to be Street Fighter 6. Look at it after all we've spoken about here.
Yeah, I think he's got to have like that.
Game of all time.
Yeah, it's got to have that perfect storm of things where it's like it's fun to play, it's exciting to watch, it's very nuanced, and then like the presentation is good. Like the one thing about MK1, it's just not a fun game to watch anybody can play competitively. Like it's just not exciting to watch. Even Mortal Kombat 11 was more fun to watch, but like MK1, when it's being played at a really optimal level, while you understand why something is working, it's not the most exciting thing to watch. Like it's just not. Or Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, that shit is really fun to watch. Yeah, if you're watching a Ninja Killer combo, like Ninja makes everything look fucking saucy. But I think that
Hayate.
I don't think I've ever seen any Hayate content.
All the good Kenshis. Kanimani on Kenshi, Hayate on Kenshi. Yeah, Ninja Killer on Lu. Sonic,
I'm gonna have to search Hayate up. I've never seen them.
Any sort of character.
Yeah.
There are players that are amusing to watch. Amusing, or like you can admire what's going on. But I do see what you mean when you start seeing, I don't know, Homelander, Farah, Tanya, Farah sort of teams.
Well, because it's like highest reward, lowest risk, which is understandable when you're trying to win like money. That's just like it's almost like the analogy when people like make fun of Floyd Mayweather for not knocking anybody out like his last 15 fights. It's like, well, I'm not taking any risk to lose, which might not be the most entertaining way to win per se, but it's highly effective, you know. Like it's kind of crazy that Sonic won Evo on a jump in of all things. like that's kind of wild when you think about it, because that's just not something that happens.
I can believe it.
I couldn't believe that shit. A jump in a pro competition to win the bro, that's insane.
You could see it. Everyone could see that jump coming, but I understand. It was the perfect jump.
Perfect jump. He wave dashed like 5 times before he went for it. Like, I mean, you couldn't have been any more perfect, because if he's half a second early or half a second late, he dies. But it just happened to be at the perfect time. It's like, that's just Sonic being fucking Sonic.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I just think I don't really have anything against the game per se. Like I don't really have a negative, because like sometimes I'll joke, you know, like when you make content and you like tweeting and shit, you like do a lot of hype, like hyperbole, so you're just fucking around. I don't really have like any deep negative feelings to Mortal Kombat 1. It's just that they made their worst game while their competition made their best games. Like Mortal Kombat 11, I played a little bit of Street Fighter 5. I got on the Tekken 7 late. Obviously, those games didn't come out at the same time, but Mortal Kombat 11 was very strong in how it put his foot down to be fun and it'll be played. Because like, even I've had some people like tweet to me and say, well, Mortal Kombat 1 is better. I'm not going back to Mortal Kombat 11 no matter what. That's easy to say as far as recency bias, but we played Mortal Kombat 11 for 5 years. Mortal Kombat 1 is struggling to get through year 1. So regardless of what you say about not going back to the game per se, the majority of people seem to be having a lot more gripes than a lot more love. And I think that they just happen to release their worst game objectively. You know, I know you have a flexible opinion. Mine's is a little more that I didn't play enough of MKX, but I've heard people say what they feel about MKX. Obviously, MK9 is held very high, and then I have a very strong love for MK11. And so if Mortal Kombat 1 comes out as the worst version of these 4 games, and then Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 are the best version of their most recent games, hey, it just, you pick the worst time to drop your worst product. That's all it is. And I hope they overhaul it. I hope it can be saved, but you picked your worst time to drop your worst product.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, there's got to be some sort of drop off some point, realistically. Or at least, yeah, some sort of divot, I guess. Or
at least you don't have that drop off when your other 2 competitors are having their best moment. Like, if this was the only game out to play, we probably look at Mortal Kombat 1 a different way, but we have options.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You got options. If you don't want to play it, then just don't play it. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's like this said. People are saying I would never go back to this MK, that MK. All right, don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If people want to play it, they'll play it. If they don't, they don't. And or you could play all of them if you want. Don't have to be. It's just tribal mentality at that point.
Yeah, and you probably given like the most flexible opinion on that I've seen, because you're the only person who's like kind of not. You don't really care which one is better. It's like just play them all or don't play any of them. Like that's kind of where you stand.
I don't care what the next person is saying, because they ain't either playing the game or not for me. It's not. Yeah. Okay, good for you. Do your thing, innit? Like it's not me going around saying you must play our game.
Because I still want to enjoy Mortal Kombat 1. It's just like I'm not playing it on purpose. I'm just kind of enjoying other things. But then there's also sometimes like there's that thing where you step away and you take a break from some sort. It's more fun when you come back. Like I haven't played Mortal Kombat 11 in like months, and when me and Aqua played last night, I had a ton of fun. To the point where I kind of want to like go back and practice and like knock off some of the rust and make some videos around it, because I had a whole bunch of fun playing.
Go ahead, do it then, innit? It's like, if that's what you want to do, then who's gonna stop you? Huh?
But I really, really hope that
there's always people playing MK games, all of them. So as long as it's got good netcode from X onwards, you can play NRS game with at any time of the day, because there's always someone on any one of them. So you don't have to sit there and play the latest one. You can go back if you want. You can also play all of them.
But I do hope that based on what you were saying, like the track record of the games having those massive overhauls, and I remember Sick Andrew told me this, and I remember like seeing it somewhere, like these data miners who kind of like find certain things, they've been right the whole time. It's rumored that there is supposed to be a 2v2, which is why I'm kind of hoping for that wish. I just hope it really comes, because like I want this game to do well. Like I joke about it and talk shit about it, but I really do want the game to do well, because I have like a passion for the franchise. Like I really do enjoy Mortal Kombat as a franchise. Like I grew up on it. I'm an older gamer, so like I was around for the very first one on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, right? So my thing is like I want this to do well, but I just think they need that rejuvenation with something new. And I just think it's a matter of, I think they know how to do it. It's just a matter of will their ego allow them to or not. 2v2, or even like what you said about the 4-player 2v2 version, that would just, that would pretty much carry the game for the next 4 or 5 years, because you can just play with your friends. That would carry the game alone.
That would be so sick. We need to start spamming this at Ed Boon immediately, actually.
You're right. I'm gonna start tagging them in videos like Ed Boon. Me and Foxy Grandpa came up with the perfect idea. Like, hey yo, we came up with the perfect idea. Me and Foxy Grandpa had a talk. You need 2v2 with 4 players, and it'll save the game, and it'll be heralded as the best Mortal Kombat ever based on that one thing alone. That'll save the game.
That would be pretty sick.
But yo, bro, I don't want to hold you up for too long. I definitely appreciate you coming through and kicking with me and talking some MK and some other games as well, bro. I really, really appreciate you coming through, brother. And thanks a lot, man. I really, really appreciate the competitive perspective as well. You know what's gonna happen though. You know what's gonna happen is that as soon as I put this video out,
that's what I do.
Well, that's going to be one thing, and the second thing is going to be as soon as I put this video out, everybody in the comments, yo, Lou, you and Foxy need to play each other. That's what happens every time I put out a video with another creator or a player. That's what the first thing they say. You need to play each other.
That's what you're gonna say.
They do it every time, bro.
This is just ruins. It will ruin a relationship, man. It will ruin a friendship. I
don't get into the toxic parts of Mortal Kombat. Like I get joked about for being toxic, but I'm really not that toxic. I just talk shit back to people that talk to me. But like I don't really run beef sets and stuff, because like you know how toxic Mortal Kombat community is. It's always somebody talking shit to you. So like, it just comes with the territory.
That's so good.
Shit's
It's
insane.
gold. Love it.
But I appreciate you, brother. Have a great day, man. Thanks a lot for coming through, man. And I'm gonna get this up ASAP.
All right, nice one. Take care, man.
All right, for sure. You too, bro.
In a bit.
Who's on the scene? Okay. Ooh, I didn't see the cross.